Hey everybody, this is me, Undead Viking, and I want to talk to you about this game today. It's called Flag Dash. Flag Dash is a 2 to 4 player game that replicates the game you probably played as a child, Capture the Flag. Well, technically, I guess I know of a Capture the Flag league in my local Y for adults. So, and I thought that might be interesting. But then I realized these old bones probably can't take the jostling, if you will. So, but regardless, you might remember Capture the Flag. Basically, you had a flag and you tried to grab it and return it to your home area, if you will, and that's what this game is. But instead of you actually running, what you're going to be doing is you're going to have a hand of cards that you're going to use to plot your movement in secret, and then you're going to put those cards down, and then you're going to reveal them on your move turns to try to position members of your team on the board in the best possible spot, using the best possible actions to both capture your opponent's flag or your opponent's personal flags, because that's another way you can win, which I'll explain, or also to defend your own flag from possibly losing the game. So the game has, a small amount of rules, but it is a strategy game. It is a tactics game. So it's not so much the rules that kind of like games you play that the game is set up to be difficult, like converting certain resources into victory points and things like that. The game is set up to kind of confound you. This game is actually not the game itself, it's the opponents that are sitting across the table that you're going to be trying to outwit and outplan and confound with your actions. Obviously, games like this I really enjoy because I like actually the head-to-head action with me and the other players at the table. But kind of getting behind myself as I always do, so why don't I just go ahead and show you how to play Flag Dash, and we'll come back here and I'll tell you exactly why I've had a lot of fun playing this. Alright, cool. Alright, this is a 4-player game of Flag Dash that I've gone ahead and set up. You can play this game with 2 or 3 players. The core mechanisms remain the same, so as I'm showing this, just keep that in mind. This is a prototype that I was sent, so the things that you're looking at right now may or may not be present or look the same when the game is published. So also, keep that in mind. So, this is the game board. You can kind of see just cut it in the middle, and this is this team over here, and this is this team over there. Each person has a card that represents them. There are some advanced rules where different players have special player powers. I'll get into those later, but I'm just going to kind of show you the core basics right now. Each card has 2 sides. They either have the defender side, which is this, or they have the runner side, which is this. And that is kind of like the different roles that the players will have. And you can see that if you're the defender, you have this little line through the character. That means that basically the defender can't take the flag action, which I'll explain just a little bit when I discuss the actions with you. Just keep in mind that this player is going to be running this runner, this player is going to be running this runner, but both players can, use the defender and make the defender take actions to, well, defend the flag. The big thing about this game is that you are attempting to take your runner and you're attempting to snag the other person's flag and return it to your territory, and that is one way that you can win the game. Another way that you can win the game is that if you might have noticed that these two little flags here that are on each character in their color, if you are able to steal all 6 of your opponent's personal flags and place them on your own flags here, you notice there's little spots there, you will win the game as well if you manage to take the personal flags of your opponents. So there's 2 different ways that you can win the game. So the way the game is played is very, very simple. What will happen is that each player on their turn will take one of these cards. These are the action cards you have. Everybody has the exact same action cards. They will also have these tokens, and everybody's going to have the exact same tokens as well. So on your turn, and you get to discuss this with your teammate, you can say, which card should I play? Should I play this one over here? Where should I go? You can have that discussion with them, and then what you're going to do is you're going to place 2 of these cards down, and you're going to place 1 of these action tokens on each of those cards, and that will be your turn, your move number 1 and your move number 2. Now this is where the trickiness of the game starts up, because you are going to be trying to figure out what the other players are going to be doing, what character, where the characters are going to end up. Are they moving the defender? Are they going to move, and so on and so forth. And then also you're kind of trying to guess, spatially where your opponents are going to be, and then you're going to have to hopefully be able to, use the cards that you picked to be successful during your move actions. Now, just quickly, there's two things I want to mention to you too. You might have noticed these little spots here, and these little wooden log type things there as well. Now, these are walls, and what they do is they prevent you from moving through them. You move orthogonally in this game. You don't move diagonally. So north, south, east, west. Just keep that in mind. Walls will prevent movement through them, but they don't prevent other actions like taking flags or pushing the other players. So just keep that in mind. These are tunnels. When you enter them as part of movement, you immediately then can pop up on another tunnel, and you can't enter them if you have the main flag. So just keep that in mind. You can't snag it, use a tunnel to quick move to the other side. You don't have that option. If for whatever reason, like another opponent is on there and you wish to, another meeple, she doesn't have to be an opponent, is on one and you want to use that, you will then push that other character orthogonally in one direction prior to that movement being completed. So that is how those tunnels work. Obviously, you can move a lot quicker using those tunnels to get where you want to go. So each of these actions, remember, you're going to be taking 2 of these actions, and I'm covering those up. You don't normally cover them up. I'm just running out of room here. And then you will take 2 of your little tokens like so, and you need to designate which ones move 1 and which ones move 2, and so then you have those available to you. And so that, and then once everybody's done that, you've placed those on the board, then everybody will reveal the token on their move number 1. They'll determine whose moves go first, second, third, or fourth. I'll explain that also in just a moment. And then after everybody takes care of that movement, you reveal move number 2, reveal the token first, then reveal the card, and so on and so forth. Now, it's very important that you reveal the token prior to revealing the card, because of the fact that you don't want to give any extra information to your opponent when that happens. So if you have a situation there where, it's like you're going last, you don't want to tell them that, you're taking a push action, because then they're going to know, don't get near that player, because if I'm near that player, then he's going to push me, and then, whatever, and then the bad things happen, which I'll explain the push action just a little bit. But so you have that, you want to keep your card secret until that happens. So basically, most of the cards in this situation are movement cards. You're going to get 4 movement cards, and then these are all jumbled up here. But just, you have to, if you hold the card, you put the ground on the bottom, and then you have the movement cards for each of the main directions. If you play one of these movement cards and you put it down, depending upon the token that's put on, you'll take that movement action 1 or more times when you take that action. Now, these cards this is the push action. When you push somebody, you have to be close to them. You have to be next to your opponent. And then when you push them, you can push them 2 orthogonal directions with the push. So you can go like 1, 2, or 1, 2, or something like that. You can't push them through a wall, like you couldn't here. You couldn't go 1, 2, because the normal movement rules apply. But if your opponent was across the wall, you could still push them 1, 2, like that. Pretty, not too difficult to understand, but the push action, though, also has the ability of, if like your opponent was over here and they had snagged your flag, let me put that in there like so, they had snagged their flag, and your defender pushed that, you would push them the 1, 2, like say, like 1, 2, like that, but they would also leave the flag behind when they got pushed. So it's kind of like tackling them, making them ditch that, and then you shove them away. So the push action is obviously a big defensive action. The flag action, is, you might guess, is the ability to pick up the flag. You'll notice that your defender can't pick up the flag. They can't, do that. And also, you can't use the flag action to pick up your own flag. You use it to pick up your opponent's flag. So when you take the flag action, you have to be orthogonally next to the flag. You will then take the flag action and pick it up and put it on your meeple, like so. Now, you can also use the flag action. If you're like here, you could use the flag action to just drop the flag in any orthogonally around you. You also could use it to hand to another player. So you could hand it to your another player. Like if he was next to him, he could hand it over like that. You can hand the flag to the defender. They just can't take it. So and then obviously then you could move with the flag to get it back to your territory to win the game. So that's how the flag action works. Now the last action that you have is the repeat action. And the repeat action, as you can probably guess, is just going to repeat an action that you've taken prior in this turn. It could be any of the cards that you have played like before that particular action. So if it's part of your move 2, you could use any of the actions that you've done prior in move 1. Also, depending upon the tokens that you play, you also have the ability to play more of these action cards. And so if you did the repeat action as the very last card that you possibly play in move 2, you could use any of the other cards that you played prior. So the repeat action, obviously the later you use it, the more versatility it's going to give you. So each of these tokens is going to look the same on the other side, and it's going to be on this side, it's going to have a number on it and some iconography that's going to tell you what they do. So the move number 1, and remember the lowest number is going to be the first person to act when you turn these over. If you tie your teammate with your action token, no big deal. You and your teammate just decide who among you is going to go first, and you just and take those actions in that order. If you tie with your opponent, which is going to happen, whoever has the tiebreaker token, which is handed to the youngest player at the beginning of the game, will then that side they break the ties, if you will. So so here, like 1, you just take the action of the card that is on there. With this 2, you can also you just take the action of the card that you played, but you also get a boost token. That's these tokens here. Each player can have up to 2 boost tokens, and a boost allows you to move an extra space. You can have up to 2, so you could spend 2 if you have to, and you could move 2 extra spaces by doing so. Now, keep in mind, you can't use a boost token that you just gained. You couldn't, like, take that, put that boost token on your character from using that token, and then immediately spend it for an extra move. You have to use it in a later action, if you will. Alright, so number 3 is this card plus card. And what that does is that you then pick another card from your available action cards, and you play that. And then so you're going to, not only are you going to do the action card you picked, but you're going to do another action card that you selected. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to do the card that you laid down first. You don't have to do that one first. You can do the other card that you picked first prior to the one that you first placed down. So the card plus card obviously allows you some versatility and allows you to change up your plans a little bit. So 4 is you get to do the action that you selected twice. So you move twice or what have you. And also you get a boost token. Like 5 is what you use when you really want to move a long way quick. So you'd use like that to use whatever action you picked 3 times. 6 allows you to do the card plus card again, and now because you played 6, you're going probably last or close to being last, and so then you were able to kind of see how the field develops before you take your actions. And 7 is your reset action. Now, when you reset, I should have mentioned that when you spend these tokens, you then discard them. Not discard them, but you basically place them outside of your screen. And so then that, you can't use these actions until you do the reset. When you do a reset, you do your action that you've played once, and then you collect all of your tokens to be able to, so you can collect them, so later turns you can do so. Now, you don't, obviously, like, if you do your, if this is like your reset, you do your reset at the beginning of your first move action, the token that you put on your second move card remains on that particular card. You don't collect that one back. It's, pretty straightforward, but that's a fine distinction, just to make sure that you don't, make that mistake. So, there you go. I mean, that is the core mechanisms of the game. It doesn't have a lot as far as rules go, but the bluffing and outthinking your opponent part of the game is where the strategic elements of the game, the tactical elements of the game really, really shine and are really challenging, because, you're not just, playing a card and, to do what you want, but you're trying to, figure out what you think your opponents are going to do with the cards they've played on the ground, played on the table, and then trying to outguess not only the card they picked, but also the order in which those cards are going to be resolved as well. Now, there are some advanced rules, and you might have noticed that these players, like, they have like these little special abilities on there, and like so you notice that on the other side they don't. Each character does have certain player powers available to them. Some of them are able to like dig extra, like make an extra tunnel on the board. Some of them are able to like take a jump action, allows them to jump over the wall. There's the crazy cat lady, because of course there's a crazy cat lady, and when the crazy cat lady they have 2 cat tokens that you can have the cats chase 2 characters on the board closest to your runner 1 space away from you if you want to use the crazy cat tokens. The Pilates ninja, which is her right there, she gets these little 2 tokens. They're spy tokens that they can use throughout the game. You only get to use these once each. But during the plan moves, you can use the spy token in place of your priority tokens, so you can kind of like use them to kind of figure out what after each player reveals their priority token during their determined move. You can force an opponent to reveal their action card, and so like you can kind of have an idea of what their plan is. This guy has a lasso. You might notice that he's got this little hand on. He's the modern cowboy. He is orthogonally, vertically, or horizontally on the same plane, they can move the targeted character 1 space towards the runner. It doesn't have to be an opponent either. So you have like those little extra abilities and what have you. Oh, and I should have mentioned he actually gets these little traps that you can place on the board, like so, like little traps on the board. And then like if anybody enters those traps, they can't move until a reset token is played. So pretty straightforward. But you can add those to the game to like just add more options. I've definitely played with those, and they're awesome. They add a lot to the game, and they make the game a little more fun because of the fact that you have these variable player powers, and I love variable player powers in games. But the core game without those, that's how I played this game with my daughter, because I didn't want to add a bunch of like extraneous rules, if you will. And we had a blast with this game playing it as is. So there you go. There you go. That is Flag Dash. The game is a heck of a lot of fun. I should mention also that if the game board does come. I'm gonna kind of spill everything out like that, but the game board does actually come with a different playing board, if you will. So like you have an alternative setup that you can use, and then you definitely get more of these tunnels, more of those walls, so you can actually like kind of play around and change up the way you want to set up the game too. So you don't have to like go with the basic setup, if you will. You have other options. So just want to show you that. But so there you go. That is Flag Dash. I've had a lot of fun playing this with my buddies, and also, like as I said, with my daughter. So let me tell you exactly what I think of the game in my conclusion. Alright, so there you go. That is the Flag Dash. So, as I said, I've had a lot of fun playing with it. I have played this game more with my daughter than anybody else, but she is my number one opponent when I play games lately anyway, so that's not a big surprise. But she found this game to be a lot of fun because she plays Capture the Flag at her elementary school. She is in 3rd grade right now. And so she liked the fact that it was a game that she played and had personal experience of doing so in her gymnasium, or outside for that matter. But also, she loved the idea of the fact that she was a crazy cat lady, or had a lasso and things like that, and so she enjoyed the added aspect of it, just kind of the imagination, and then I'm sure in her head she was kind of putting herself in where she normally played it, in the idea of lassoing her friends or whatever, or going through a secret tunnel for that matter. She really liked those secret tunnels. But the game is, as I said, it is a outplan or outwit type of game. It's pretty straightforward. I need to move from here to here, grab that, and move back. I mean, the process of how do I win the game is instantly claimed. But it is, as I said, it is a battle of being smarter than the person across the table and putting together your plan of actions in a more expedient way. The best part about this game is the reveal, the turning the tokens over, and then ultimately also revealing that card. There's nothing better than when like you realize that the turn is like shaping up perfectly for your second move card to be turned over, and like you're able to put your character in a perfect position, or you know, they've moved themselves into a spot which allows you to, you know, like if you have the repeat card, you're allowed to like repeat like a push action that you used before, or you're allowed to, you know, like with the tokens that you turn over, you're allowed to put another card together with a card that exists, so you're able to put that perfect turn together type of thing. And you know, and it's one of those things too where it's a challenge because of the fact that you know like the different tokens that you put down, because you can look at your tokens that you put down, you can't replace them, but you can definitely look and see, you know, what your possibilities are. And you can actually have that, you know, now this is like obviously not a good thing, but I don't mind the whole agony of realizing as the turn is also opening up, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do anything, you know, we got to like figure something else out type of actions as well. And, you know, so games like this are experience games in my opinion. Like, it isn't so much the rules or winning or losing, it's those little signature moments of the game where you either have like the agony or the ecstasy of like, you know, both defeat or winning. So you know, I find games like this to be exactly what I need from them. I want to try to be smarter than my friends or my daughter, which, you know, she's already smarter than I am. So, but I want to be, and I want to be more clever than they are. But I also, you know, want like the two of us, whether we're opposing or I'm working together with a friend, I want us to be able to share in that experience and share in that joy, or that, you know, like joyful misery, if you will, and because that's what it is. It's an experience game. You reference it later. You reference it during games of it that you play later, and it because of the fact that you're not playing the game so much, but you're playing the player, it, you know, it stands up to many repeated plays. And I've been having a lot of fun with this. My daughter loves this game. She's been begging to her to bring it. She's been begging me to let her bring it to school, which I will probably do at some point here after I've done this video, because she definitely wants to show this to her friends. So there you go. That is Flag Dash from Peacekeeper Games. If you have any questions about it, please ask Will. I'll be happy to answer those to the best of my ability. Thanks, as always, for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I am the Undead Viking, and I'm going to tell you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.